Today from the global lane, Putin drags his feet as Trump pursues a Ukrainian ceasefire. Meanwhile, a Kyiv church is hit in a drone strike. Her family is killed, but the lead worship team singer survives the blast.
An explosion puts this mattress and she's on the mattress, fly away.
Violence against Tesla over hate for Elon Musk.
It's not a grassroots uprising of people who are terribly upset that he wants to cut $1 trillion in wasteful government spending. No, it is instead an orchestrated, organized campaign.
The U.S. Congress looks at Trump's proposal to kill the income tax for Americans earning $150,000 or less.
I'm not sure that taking more people off the rolls is necessarily a great idea, but it would be nice for the people that don't have to pay tax anymore.
And legislation to protect pregnancy care centers. And it's all right here on the global lane. Although talks are underway to broker a more extensive and complete ceasefire, Russia and Ukraine reportedly have agreed to ensure safe navigation for commercial vessels in the Black Sea and stop bombing energy facilities. Meanwhile, hours before the agreement, Russian attacks on Ukrainian positions and infrastructure continued. On Sunday morning, this church in Kyiv was damaged from a drone attack. 3 people were killed, including an 80-year-old woman and the husband and 5-year-old daughter of the lead singer of the church worship team. Joining us from Kyiv is one of the Emmanuel Church pastors, Pastor Pasha. Pastor Pasha, please tell us what happened at your church in the late night, early morning hours of Sunday, March 23rd.
Between Saturday night and Sunday, and in our territory have a small house. We use this house for people who need sleep and stay in church. It's for ministry and something like that. And for this night, this kamikaze drone hit our territory at like 20 meters from this house. An explosion, big explosion, damaged this house in seconds. And in this house, at this night, stay family, young family, Oleksandra, their daughter Nicole, and Alexander's father and daughter died immediately, and Alexandra still alive now.
Well, Alexandra, we understand she is the lead singer of your church worship team. Is she still in critical condition? What is her current medical condition?
It's now she wants additional medical operation. She's sleep in mattress, An explosion puts this mattress and she's on the mattress, fly away.
Oh.
Yes, in this mattress stopped shrapnel and additional damage.
Does she know that her husband and 5-year-old daughter were killed?
Yeah. She know for this time, and more people from our church every day coming to her and speak and help. She's still a faith, if it's possible, but she's strong.
So your church is getting through this tragedy.
More people from our church come to church at Sunday and see all of this. It's terrible. It's not simple, but good.
Your church needs to be repaired.
Yeah. Our church needs repair because this explosion damaged all around this. Around explosion, our main house, from side where we have coffee corner and video studio, Sunday school classes.
Oh, Sunday school classes too.
Yeah. Because explosion wave damage more position in deep in our building.
Was this an intentional bombing of the church or by accident? What were they targeting? What was the target?
I don't know. People, military people, not don't say for us anything, but it's Kyiv.
The church is in an industrial zone or area.
Yeah, but not in center. It's
on the edge.
Corner, yeah.
What can we do to help your church right now, and also to help Oleksandra?
Oh, first of all, is praying. We need praying for Oleksandra, for his health. We need praying. Pray, please, for our church, for our people, because our people still live in Kyiv. Every day we have alarm, air alarm. We're strong in faith. We're strong in faith, and we do it. We serve for another people. If we need praying, and if you want, you can help for our repaired building. It's very big help for us.
And I think you said when we pray, yes, pray for peace. But what type of peace are you talking about?
We believe real peace comes only through Jesus Christ. It's our main position. And this peace comes for us every day. And that's why we continue to share gospel and help the people.
Okay, the peace that passes all understanding. Pasha of Emmanuel Church in Kyiv, Ukraine, thank you for joining us. Our prayers are with you.
Welcome. Thank you.
During a recent cabinet meeting, President Trump thanked Elon Musk, calling him a patriot who has been through a lot for his work at the Department of Government Efficiency. The president encouraged people to support Musk after attacks against Tesla vehicles and dealerships.
If he wasn't doing this, he wouldn't have any of these difficulties. And I think it's getting less and less. Pam has done a great job with regard to all of the, I know the kind of investigations that are going on. If she finds them, which she will, she already found 4 of them. But I think they're going to suffer very grave consequences because they're really terrorists when you think about it. But Elon's a patriot. We want to thank you very much for the job you're doing. Thank you very much.
Joining us with insights on Elon Musk is journalist Dennis Neal. He's the author of the book, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. Dennis, I'm assuming you're not happy with the way that Musk has been treated by some Americans. So what is your reaction when you see these acts of vandalism against Tesla dealerships and owners of Tesla vehicles?
It is absolutely astounding to me that it has gone to this level and this length. And worse than that, Gary, is that it's not a grassroots uprising of people who are terribly upset that he wants to cut $1 trillion in wasteful government spending. No, it is instead an orchestrated, organized campaign by 5 groups that Elon Musk personally has called out on the X platform, all of them funded by the Act Blue, very kind of questionable Democrat fundraising organization. And so this is actually a plotted strategy. And you hear it all the way to the leadership of the Democrat Party. Chuck Schumer talking about how they're intentionally going to Republican meetings and sites and disrupting it. And, these people are paid protesters. They're not Americans who are up in arms and upset by government cutbacks in spending. I just am shocked to see it. Now, the one upside, of course, is for President Trump, who no longer seems to be public enemy number 1. Now all the heat is on Elon, and I wonder if he misses it or if he's kind of happy for it.
Well, how do you respond when you hear people say Musk is unqualified and should not be trusted to audit government agencies? I'm reminded of what Larry Ellison, the Oracle co-founder and billionaire, said
back in January 2019, he was asked, why did you just invest $1 billion in Tesla? And he said, well, you know, what have you done? He asks the reporter. He said, look, this guy is landing rockets on floating barges in the middle of the sea. And meanwhile, what has anybody else done? You know, you got to bet on a guy like that. A year later, his $1 billion stake was worth $13 billion. Now, this man, Musk, went in, he was forced by a Delaware judge to buy Twitter. He didn't want to. He wanted to back out of the deal. Tech stocks plummeted after he made his $44 billion offer. He was forced to go through with it. He then cuts 80% of staff in a matter of weeks. And only a month later or less hosts close to 150 billion impressions on the World Cup. So those 80% of people weren't needed at all. So the thought that he could go in and cut government enough to make a difference is quite plausible. And we're seeing that a lot of these government employees are unnecessary and simply doing nothing. You know, some of the buildings in Washington, they house 4,000 people, and only 90 people have been there on a given day for the past year or more, all post-COVID. People are loafing. They're just kind of lollygagging, and it's time someone called it out. And now Elon has. And for this, the Eeyore Democrats who oppose everything and are dark about everything, for this, they have made Elon their #1 enemy now. And they're even othering him, Gary. This is a party that welcomes immigration, that welcomes illegal immigration, foreigners, yay, let them in. But now they're saying Musk is a South African oligarch. He's not, you know, he doesn't understand the way this country works. That outsider status is part of his strength.
And as a journalist, I appreciate the stance that Musk took against censorship and in favor of free speech on Twitter, now X. But he has many other accomplishments: Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, Neuralink, Boring Company, Optimus, and XAI. And he's praised on X in a song and video presented by Oleksandra Basher. Here's a short clip.
He took over Twitter's reign. He saved free speech for all. Eliminating woke pain. SpaceX flies, Tesla self-drives, Starlink beams with laser dreams. He's got a master plan for our lives. Let's occupy Mars. Let's occupy Mars.
Dennis, she says she's an aspiring comedian, so it's unclear if her video is satire or serious. But regardless, Musk has accomplished a lot. Why do you think people view him with such contempt?
Well, a lot of people filter their view through the media, and the media are viewing him with contempt. So why are the media so upset, Gary? Well, it's because he bought that Twitter platform. He turned it into X. He freed it for President Trump, who was banned for life. No sitting or former U.S. president should be banned for life from anything. There's nothing he could have done that deserved that. Let him hang himself with his own words if he's such a terrible person. And yet he was banned, and then he was restored by Musk and thousands of conservative voices, muzzled by the government, which millions of Americans had the right to hear. And yet the media are upset about that.
Well, I have a feeling Musk will survive Doge and all these attacks and come out of it stronger than ever. How about you? You agree?
He is like a superhero that feeds on the negative energy. I have 11 lessons in my book, okay? And one of them is the most likely outcome in life is often the most ironic one, the one you tried to stop from happening or that you never expected to happen. Look at all the people that tried to stop Trump from getting elected, all the forces. And what they did is they helped ensure that Trump would get elected. That is the most ironic outcome. And I think with Musk, he's feeding off this energy. There's 2 more lessons in my book. You know, tease your critics and torture your enemies. That's what he does. And also the highest nail gets pounded down first, so strap on a helmet. This guy says, bring it on, and he's going to win.
Okay, Dennis, Neil, maybe I can join you on Mars someday. Journalist, podcaster, author of the book, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Have a glorious day, and thanks so much.
As millions of Americans prepare their taxes to meet the April 15th deadline, President Trump is proposing that those earning $150,000 or less pay no federal income tax. The president also wants Congress to act quickly to make his previous tax cuts permanent. Phil Kerpen, president of American Commitment, joins us with more. Phil, first, no income tax for Americans earning $150,000 per year or less. How could that be? What are the chances that Congress will go along with the president's proposal?
Well, I think the prospects for that one are pretty low just because it was sort of thrown into the mix very, very late in the process here. But, most middle and lower income people up to, I don't know exactly the number these days, maybe $75,000 or so, pay very little federal income tax. And one of the challenges that we've had is, as Republicans have been successful in raising the standard deduction amount and taking a lot of people off the income tax rolls, which is something that's happened from Reagan to Bush to Trump, then when you try to cut tax rates for the people that remain on the tax rolls, the Democrats and the media go crazy about tax cuts for the rich. So I'm not sure that taking more people off the rolls is necessarily a great idea, but it would be nice for the people that don't have to pay tax anymore. So I get the political appeal of it. But if you're someone who makes under $150,000 and you saw this headline and think you're not going to be paying tax, I think it's pretty unlikely that that'll be an outcome, at least this year.
Well, I know the biggest problem for fiscal conservatives is this proposal would cause a revenue shortfall of at least $1 trillion per year over the next 10 years. So how could Trump balance the budget with that kind of revenue shortfall?
Well, he'd have to make it up by not extending other elements of the tax cuts or not doing other parts of the agenda. It's difficult. Or you could find, additional major savings in spending, but they're going to be strained even to make good on the spending reductions that they've already promised. So it would add greatly to the fiscal challenge. And I think the House Ways and Means Committee is already pretty far down the tracks, as I said, of kind of figuring out what they could fit in the parameters of the budget resolution that the House guys have already put together. So I think the prospects of this are pretty low just because of how late in the conversation it's coming out.
Okay, but the immediate need is for Congress to come together quickly to cancel the tax hike. Trump's tax cuts enacted during his first term are set to expire. So what would that expiration mean for the average American?
Well, the average household tax bill goes up about $3,000 if the Congress fails to prevent the tax hike that's going to occur automatically with the expiration of those 2017 tax cuts at the end of this calendar year. And the specifics of that are the standard deduction gets cut in half. The child tax credit gets cut in half from $2,000 per child to $1,000 per child. All of the rates go up a few points in each bracket. And perhaps most significantly, from an economic standpoint, the tax on small businesses goes up pretty dramatically because not only does the top rate go from 37 to 39.6, but the 20% exclusion, what they call Section 199A, that goes away. So small business income goes from a top rate of 29% and change to 40%. And so small businesses would be particularly hammered hard, but every household that pays taxes would face higher taxes if Congress doesn't get on the same page and do something to prevent this tax hike.
Boy, that'd be tough for small businesses as they're just coming back, many of them after COVID.
Gary, and especially for whatever reason, Congress in its wisdom made the corporate income tax permanent, but the small business income tax expires. And so not only would small businesses get hit with steeply higher taxes, but their corporate competitors would not. And so it would be particularly unfair.
Phil, how does it look then? Are Speaker Johnson and John Thune acting with enough urgency here to move the House and Senate forward on this?
Well, this is going to be a huge week to find out on that because they finally cleared the CR. There's no government shutdown. There's no excuse for not getting down to business on the budget resolution, which is the predicate to doing the tax bill. And there will be high-level meetings this week between Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, the White House, maybe even the president himself. And they're going to have to get on the same page. Right now, they're in a standoff. The House has done a budget resolution that has a pretty good instruction to extend tax cuts. Not perfect. It probably isn't enough to get to permanence on all these various things, but it gets probably an 8 or 9 year extension, which would prevent all these tax hikes we're talking about for a good while. The Senate Republicans, they're saying that they want permanence, but the budget resolution they actually passed has no tax provisions at all. They actually did a budget that just does nothing on tax, and they say they'll get to that later in the year. And so we still have this kind of standoff between the House and the Senate. And I think that Speaker Johnson makes a very, very strong argument that, look, he has basically no majority. And so the House, what the House has shown that they're able to pass really should be the template for how we move forward. And if the Senate could act on that House budget resolution quickly, we could get a tax bill on the president's desk by Memorial Day, which was the goal that he laid out. If they try to do this two-bill thing and do it later in the fall, there's a real danger, Gary, that they either don't do it at all or do it right on the, the week of Christmas Eve. And if they do that, there's going to be a lot of economic damage from all the uncertainty in the meantime. So this is a big week to figure out if the House and Senate Republicans can get on the same page and move sooner rather than later on tax.
Okay, we'll see what happens here. Phil Kerpen, president of America Commitment. Thank you, Phil, for joining us. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
On Capitol Hill this week, several Republican House members gathered together to unveil the Let Pregnancy Centers Serve Act of 2025. The proposed legislation would prohibit local, state, and federal governments from discriminating against pregnancy care centers. Here's longtime pro-life advocate New Jersey Representative Chris Smith, followed by Jamie Dangers of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America.
Notwithstanding any other law, the federal government and any individual or entity that receives federal financial assistance, including any state or local government, may not penalize or retaliate against an entity because the entity offers life-affirming support and resources to women facing unexpected pregnancy.
I think it's interesting that the attacks on pregnancy centers have continued and ramped up so much recently, and I can only think that it's because they're a threat to the abortion industry. Because why would they spend their time attacking pregnancy centers if they weren't effective, if they weren't actually helping women and babies?
Why is this legislation needed? In 2022 alone, not a single arrest was made in over 100 attacks on crisis pregnancy centers and churches, causing Catholic Vote President Brian Birch to claim that the FBI, quote, weaponized its agents to intimidate and pursue pro-life religious Americans. Folks, there are more than 2,700 pregnancy care centers throughout the U.S. They exist not only for pregnant women considering abortion, but also to help counsel women who have had an abortion. Representative Smith refers to a January 2025 Marist poll that found 83% of Americans, including 79% of Democrats, support pregnancy resource centers. That would suggest the Let Pregnancy Centers Serve Act of 2025 should have little difficulty gaining congressional approval. Well, that's it today from the Global Lane. Until next time, be blessed.